I was using iPhones my whole life, at least my whole adult life. And 2 years ago, I got amazing idea. Why don't I buy Android phone? And so I did buy myself S23 Ultra from Samsung. And I must say, I really enjoyed it. I switched back to iPhone, to my new iPhone Air. You can see the video on my channel, and I will also go through reasons why I did switch back. So don't forget to subscribe to do not miss this video. But today I want to check why did I switch to this phone, what did I like, and why did I enjoy it so much. So the main reason why I switched to Android is that I felt like in prison. Because there are not many choices when you are at iPhone. You are always looking at the same user interface. You have still the same option when it comes to phones. You have same sizes, basically the same phones, only a little bit improved every year. And when you look at Android phones, there are different sizes, different technologies, different price points. And the technologies is the part where I was interested most. From the get-go, I was planning to buy a foldable phone. But there were just way too many compromises, so I got satisfied with a little bit more basic phone, which is not that basic. But the technologies are just not necessarily better, but way more interesting. I mean, you can have foldable phones, you can have V phones, you can have gaming phones with fans. You definitely do not have that with iPhones. But then there are other technologies, like if you look in the past, always on display wasn't a thing on iPhones until iPhone 14, I think. Same can be said about 120Hz display. Or if we go a little bit more in the past, like OLED displays, wireless charging. And new technologies are just not always available on iPhone. And we can talk also about new battery technologies, which for example Xiaomi 17 Pro has. iPhone 17 Pro doesn't have. It still has old lithium-ion battery. And this is something which I would quite frankly really enjoy on my iPhone, because having 50% more battery capacity on this would be amazing. So it was really hardware that got me into Android. But it wasn't the reason why I enjoyed that so much. That was software. Where do I start here? Let's start with customization. You probably know that you can customize your graphic interface on Android basically as you want. And you can even download themes so the Android phone looks as you want. You cannot do that on iPhone. I mean, there are some customization, it got better, but not as good as Android. But I do not care about that really that much. What I care about is that you can also customize basically everything else. And by everything else, I mean like display resolution. You want this to have full resolution? No problem. You want this to have a little bit lower resolution for your battery to last longer? No problem. You can adjust the refresh rate. And this is really nice. And what I appreciated this probably the most is alarm clock. And I know this sounds stupid, but this is quite a large difference for me, because on iPhone, it just screams at you. You do not have basically any settings. You can adjust time, you can adjust what music is playing, and that's basically it. Maybe some snoozes and things like that. But on Android, you can adjust also vibration, how many times you can snooze the alarm clock, whether it should read the time and some messages. But the biggest point for me is that you can adjust that the volume will be slowly increasing, which is really nice. Because on iPhone, it starts screaming at you. It's like, wake up, you motherfucker. And it's not really nice when you are trying to wake up. But on Android, it's just wakey, wakey, sunshine, wakey, you need to go into work. And I mean, this sounds like a little detail, but this is the way how you start your day, and I think that it's really important. What I really liked about Android is the way how you control the phone. Let's start with the back button. You have the same gestures for everything, for every application. You can just go back. You cannot do that on iPhone because every application has different gestures. Sometimes you tap right corner, sometimes you tap left corner, sometimes you switch back, sometimes you switch right. It's inconsistent, and I mean, it's Apple. If I would expect something, it would be consistency. It is not. Another thing is that this is big phone, very big phone. And I've also had iPhone 15 Pro Max when I was using this. And using iPhone 15 Pro Max was actually quite difficult. On this, it was quite easy, because even if you want to control it with one hand, you can just do a simple gesture, and it reduces the size of the display, so you can control it with one hand. Really nice. And there is another thing I really like, and that is settings. especially if you are in a camera application and you need to adjust some settings. On iPhone, you need to exit application, you need to go into settings, find that application there, adjust the setting, and then go back into the application. Tiresome process. Here, you have settings available in application. So it's very easy to go there, adjust the setting, and just go back. What I really loved about Android is keyboard. I do not install any keyboards and I am using the default. This is maybe a mistake, but I just do not want to have any additional work with my phone. I just want it to work from a get-go. And iPhone has just basic keyboard, which is, okay, but for example, there is missing the number row. It is here, and it's just much more comfortable. And overall, the typing on my Android is just not only more comfortable, but it's also a lot quicker, because also some options, for example, I'm from Czech Republic and we have some markings on top of the base characters. And it's just much quicker to use it on Android than on iOS, because there is some delay and then you need to find it. Here it's really natural. So keyboard here is much better than on iOS. What is also better than on iOS are notifications. They are quite similar with one huge difference. You can see the whole notification on this phone. You cannot do that on iPhone. If you get long email or long message, you need to open the application and see that message in that application, and then the opposite side sees that you saw that message, which sometimes you do not want to do. On this, you click on notification and you see the whole length of that notification. This is really nice and I quite appreciated that. What I also appreciated is that this phone is better phone. When I switched from iOS to Android 2 years ago, the difference was huge. Because, for example, my iPhone couldn't have more than 100 calls in history, which is just stupid. Here it's basically unlimited. And iPhone got a little bit better in that, but there is still one thing that iPhone do not have. And that is that Android searches the contact that is calling you, if it's unknown number, on Google and tries to match it with some company or some name. And this was really important feature for me because I get quite a lot of calls, even from unknown numbers. And when I see that the call is spam or that is some company that I do not need to pick it up, it's really nice. And it saves me hours, if not days, because of this single feature. And on iPhone, you now have the feature that it takes up the call and asks who is calling and things like that. It's nice, but I found this just way better because it doesn't interrupt you. And you just see, okay, I don't care about it, I can continue in my work. And last but not least, we have Gemini, or the voice assistant. Quite frankly, when I switched to Android, there was Google, and I didn't really like it because I'm from Czech Republic and we have sometimes a weird name, which are at least weird in English. And the Google Assistant basically never understood who I want to call. Even though I tried to say it in English to have some pronunciation, but it didn't help. And Siri understood it, so I preferred Siri, because this is probably the command I'm using the most. But now there is Gemini, and Gemini also speaks Czech, so again it's way ahead of Siri because Siri doesn't. But it's also much more usable because it understands context, and it's actually smart and it can provide you some result if you ask it. It's not even comparable. I use Siri for call somebody or play me some music and it's fine, but Gemini is just way better. It's not comparable. Thank you very much for watching. If you have anything to add, if you have any questions, write them down in the comments. Like and subscribe will help me to grow this channel, and I will see you in the next one. Thank you and bye.